You're listening to Real Estate and Bourbon. Whether you like it neat or on the rocks, you're in the right place. And now your host, Dawn Roy.
All right, fans, folks, lovelies,
people,
my loves of my life. It's time for another Real Estate and Bourbon, and you know how this goes.
I do.
Juicy stories. We're talking shit and drinking bourbon. I mean, I think that's the theme, really. And I'm so glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be back.
Good. Come on back.
Come on with it. That's what we're doing.
Oh my God. Have you seen, all right, Michael did all the editing. Have you seen our Zillow Busters video? Did you get a good look at that?
It's brilliant.
It's
brilliant.
I love it.
I was sweating when I was editing that.
Were you sweating?
Yeah.
Oh, it turned out so fabulous.
It's great.
It is super good. And if you guys haven't seen it, what are you waiting for?
We'll plug a link in the.
We'll plug that link in the bio of this YouTube here. But we're here. We're going to drink some good bourbon. Knob Creek. My friend Christopher Young from Aurora Title brought this to me the last time we were here. Oh. It is 120 proof. It's going to light us up. Light somebody up. Light something up. And we're going to talk about why do people ask us stuff at holiday parties?
Or anywhere. I mean, know your audience.
Boom. Know your audience. Know your audience. Oh, look, it's just so pretty. You know, the thing I will have to say, one of the things I like about bourbon is it's bougie. The bottles are bougie. Everything's pretty.
So I kind of feel like this is like one of you know those little things on brie, brie cheese? When people are like, do you eat it or do you not? And you see people at parties eating around it. You're like, you can totally eat it.
Yeah, it's
like edible flowers and things. You've seen that.
Not that you're going to eat or drink this, but it's kind of like that rind, that goes on
on
a brie.
Yeah, on good cheese.
I do love a brie.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Better.
And now that Thanksgiving is coming upon us,
I can never say the word. I hear it in my head.
What?
Charcuterie? Yeah.
You did it.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't try it again when you get it right the first time. I love them, though. Yeah.
I love them.
Yeah.
I don't do them enough, but I do.
But all of that, so that's everywhere on Pinterest and Etsy, all the different brie recipes with the cranberries and all, the nuts.
It gets really elaborate.
You've got the charcuterie boards. The what?
It gets really elaborate.
I can make a mean board, the board itself.
She can.
Well, we need to
get her to do one of those.
Real estate and bourbon board.
We do.
And then people can buy them.
I love when people say, what is it? Somebody said the other day, a charcuterie board.
Is that the same as hero and a gyro?
Right.
Yes, samesies, but different.
The word coochie in anything takes a whole different turn.
Well, especially when it has meat and cheese sitting.
Okay, so that said, let's take a sip of this bad boy and tell you what it.
Susan,
and by the way, it's 120
I realize
proof,
Susan
so
can
this
make
is
things
tough.
really uncomfortable really quick.
Oh, I'm the
my
best. I came, I saw, made it awkward. I left. That's what I do.
That's your theme song.
Yeah.
And I embrace that
I make
about
you squirm a little bit. It's kind of like when you watch The Office and Michael Scott says something and you're like, I wish I hadn't said that.
Do you know of all the characters, he's the one I absolutely cannot stand? I love Dwight.
I don't love him.
Dwight is very masculine though, where Michael isn't. Michael's such a sad character for me. I just think he's sad.
Oh, I love him. I think Steve Carell is so cool. I think
as
so
an actor,
talented.
yeah. I'm just saying the character of Michael is
He did great in the what's the Apple series that he was on?
Oh, that was as he the
Today.
newscaster.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he plays the best a-hole ever.
Yeah.
He really does. Have you seen that one?
Yeah,
Morning
yeah.
show.
Show.
Yeah, where he's supposed to be Matt Lauer.
Yeah.
He plays a great turd.
Yeah.
You hate him. You hate him through the whole
I like
thing.
the guy who is in that show, he's like not the top guy, but he's the one that's kind of running. Then he comes in kind of midway through and kind of tries to change things.
Yeah.
That's my personality. That's the, get things going type of thing. And
yeah.
Isn't it interesting that out of Matt Lauer's extensive career, that's what we we associate him
Oh,
with
he
is
was
just
kind
sexual
of always
import.
a douchebag, though.
It had to happen. It had to happen. It was gonna.
They're all doing it. That's the thing.
You know, my favorite Steve Carell, like, thing that he did was in 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Oh my gosh.
Where they rip the hair off his chest. And he goes, oh, Kelly Clarkson. So anytime, like, I see someone fall or get hurt or, like,
That's what you do?
Or I hit myself, you know, like, my finger with a hammer, I'm like, oh, Kelly Clarkson. And only certain people get it. And they're like, what do you mean?
What reference are you making?
Well, the funny thing is that I saw an interview with Kelly Clarkson. They asked her about that like years later, and she was like, that was shrapnel. I had nothing to do with anything. And now all of a sudden, everything tells me, Kelly Clarkson, Kelly Clarkson.
I love it. It's so funny.
He probably made that up on the fly, too.
Yeah, it was
Oh, I'm
probably
sure.
an ad lib.
I'm sure it was completely, they probably did take after take, and he just,
Well, that's the best parts.
Well, it's just like when he did, what is the one where he plays this? It's like the remake of the spy movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can't remember.
You know what I mean? It's like the old Get Smart.
Yeah, Get Smart.
Okay, he goes. I knew. Just give me a minute. The light bulb is trying to turn on. You know, zzz. He's in the bathroom trying to get himself out of those plastic zip ties that the air marshal has tied, and he's supposed to get a backpack that has a parachute in it, and he's supposed to jump out of this commercial airplane, and he has this, like Swiss Army knife, and he's got the harpoon version, and he's like trying to shoot it through, and it goes through his ear. Son of a bread maker. That's gonna hurt.
That movie.
Oh, it's so funny. He's like, that's gonna hurt.
You know, I hate when people are like, hey, you gotta see this movie. It is awesome. You get like 5 minutes in, you're like, you have
What are
the
they thinking?
IQ of a snail. Like, why
I
do they
paid
think this is
$15
funny?
for this.
Do you know the Top Gun movie? Like, that was a big deal. Like, that is my number one top.
I'm like the only
Saw
Top
in
Gun
the-
virgin in the room. I've not seen
Okay.
this newest one.
Oh, blocked my
I've seen
face.
it. What you got?
I'm just saying the severity of how much it meant to me is that a friend of mine, when we found out it was going to be made, we made a pact not to see it without each other because we grew up watching it every day.
Oh, sure.
And I saw it in the theater when I was like 10 or whatever, and so we were both nervous, like we're going to high school for the first day in 9th grade, going to see this movie.
You're so excited.
Yeah, it was like
And
this
scared
better.
that it's gonna be shit.
And I was like,
Well, true.
And I didn't. People saw it, and I was like, I don't want to hear. I don't want to know.
You liked it. You didn't like it. I don't want to know.
I don't want to know anything. Like because
So
I will
what's
be.
the verdict?
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
It was
I
awesome. It was really good.
I've not seen it.
But I
so.
was nervous the whole entire time. I'm like, oh, this better not suck. This better not suck. And I was like, it was worth the
the
flying down
anticipation.
there, doing the whole thing, and
Right.
That's good. That's good.
Not many things are worth the anticipation.
That was like 4 years of waiting and anticipating. Like this better not suck.
That's funny.
That's good. I'm glad you had a good experience.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Good friend of mine that we grew up together.
That's
so
cool.
33.
I haven't seen it, so I got nothing for you.
I'll go again. I've seen it.
I think
3
So
we
times.
speaking of that, if you're in a theater,
Yeah.
you're next to somebody, and they say, "Oh, what do you? I think I've seen you. Are you a realtor?"
They shouldn't be talking in the movie.
Is that a no-no?
That's a no-no. But they do that all the time. I mean, I, as a dental hygienist at Christmas parties, was never asked about black hairy tongue, ever. No one asked me about how cool it would be to clean someone's teeth. But the minute they find out you're a real
Did
estate
you say
agent,
black hairy tongue?
black hairy tongue is the coolest looking thing ever. Yeah. Yeah.
That makes me throw up in my mouth.
No, it's true. It's a real thing. All right. So you have little cilia. You
I don't
have
wanna talk
hairs
about
on
it.
your tongue.
I don't wanna
Okay.
talk about it.
All right.
That's how I was with the Top Gun.
I don't want to talk about that. Okay.
That's how people.
La, 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 la.
That is how people responded to me as a dental hygienist. But as a realtor, they find out, even if they are talking to someone over across the room, then they beeline for you. And they're like, so how's the market? And start this, peppering you of, you know what I mean? You've had
so
that.
here's the thing. But then if you actually engage with them and you talk about the market, they go, oh, that's not what okay, well then don't ask me. Right.
Well, I've got a friend who's a realtor whose cousin, second, third removed in Waukesha, Wisconsin. and they said,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they want to get into an argument with you.
Now, what happens if someone asked you if they wanted to list their home?
That doesn't typically happen. I mean, to me, that's a relationship thing. I think, no one, I've not ever had anybody come up to me in a party and go, oh, I just happen to need to really, this is my home. Why don't you come over?
So I think that as we talk about at parties, oh, what do you do? What do you do? Like I am fine. I think real estate's interesting. So people want to know,
Right.
They want to know all the things.
Yes.
But when you start asking advice or you start telling me how to do my job because you watched HGTV last night or you saw a news show
Or it was on Zillow or it was on Facebook.
then it's disrespectful, really.
Sure.
Right?
Right. They're not peppering any doctors in the room
No.
with them, questions.
No. And I love one of my favorite. I had somebody recently be like, "Oh, they listed their house and it did not sell." I was like, "Oh, well, all houses eventually sell."
They will.
And they were like, why do you think it didn't sell?" I was like, "I don't know. I don't know the house. So I don't know why it didn't sell."
There's could be a ton of reasons.
Do they have cats? Like, I don't know why. I don't know.
Do they have 20 snakes? Like the house I shot the other day had 20 snakes in the
No,
house?
thank you.
What?
As pets?
What just happened, Smalls? What?
They had the realtor had to get the, Beth Pretty.
There were snakes in the house or in the cross? I mean, what?
It was
As pets?
Yeah, actually, I'll retract for the agent, but I'll take this out. But yeah, as pets, and so we had the agent was wondering, oh, should I list or not list, or should I take this deal or not deal?
The big answer here is no.
They took them out for the pictures and the showings and stuff like that, but yeah, it was like 20 snakes.
Oh,
That's unique.
that's special.
That's special in a
Yeah.
special way.
Yeah. It would be like, I don't know, like saying to a doctor, like, "Oh, my grandmother died of cancer." Like, what do you want me to say about that?
What would you have done differently,
Right.
Mr. Oncologist?
Right. I don't know. There was, last night I was at Wegmans, which was, I went in for one thing and $182 later I came out.
And at the cash register, those lovelies will always say, "Did you find everything you needed?" And then some.
You know what? I actually got to say I did not because I went in for Uncrustables. And you know
they
what
did not
she said?
have that, so you ended up buying $180 worth of other items.
What's on crush? What is
It's
that?
like the little sandwich. It's like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. They're frozen without
And
the crust.
Without the crust. They're round.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Those actually generated or started out in Japan.
Fun fact.
Yeah.
Fun little you.
Full of it today. Full of fun facts. Mr. Fun Fact. So anyway, so I'm there. I have on my Open Gate hoodie.
Yeah.
And the lady's like, "Oh, what does that say?" I'm like, Open Gate. Like Open Gate Realty. It's not like hard words or anything, right? And just block letters. And I was like, it just says Open Gate Realty. And she was like, "Oh, are you a realtor?"
Kinda.
Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, I am.
I
Oh, the house beside me. Do you know Coralberry? Yeah, I made the mistake of saying yes. Yes. Oh, the house beside me is for sale. That's great.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's quality
I hope
information.
they sell it. Do you want them to move? Like where
Where are we going with this?
Right.
Where are we going with this?
Do you know the agent? I'm not
Have
sure.
no idea.
I don't really know who has it listed, so I'm not. It's Kim Kelly. No. Okay. I don't know. I don't know.
I want
But
to buy my groceries.
I gotta go. So because I didn't want to pay 5 cents for the bag. My arms are really full, so I gotta go.
I love that.
Oh, They're calling me now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and two, I find this an interesting. I don't think people do this thinking how it's coming over, but they do this. Oh, so and so is, like this will be like a friend or someone it's in your circle. So and so is selling their house. Do you have a buyer for them? Would like to have had the introduction for the listing, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's just happened multiple times, which I find so funny.
I got one from our orthodontist who's lovely, calls me and says, we have friends that are looking. Here's their agent's number. Let them know if you have anything. It's called the MLS, and they know.
And they know as much as right.
So,
and if they paid their dues, which were last weekend, all of us got hit with the RAR dues.
yeah, there's that little sinking thing like, oh shit, did I pay my dues?
Don't worry about it. It's automatic draft.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, every October it's a big hit.
Never hurt your feelings.
It'll
just before the holidays.
They need to rethink that timeline. And because a lot of the reason I know about this because I don't even pay attention to stuff like that because it is what it is. I'm not going to negotiate it. It's going to happen. But Realtor Fest was last week, and that was the buzz. Can you imagine? Tomorrow our dues are coming out. Okay. And
Well, that's a good point.
They should have it hit right when they're at the Realtor Fest when they're all doing it.
Well, and that was the conversation. Okay, here we are at Realtor Fest, and RAR is hitting us with our big our dues for the year, and that was the negative buzz. I'm like,
How much? I didn't even look. How much were they?
650, 700, something like that.
Okay, so you have agents who do real estate part-time. Mm-hmm. How do they afford it?
You tell me. If the national NAR, the national average per the National Association of Realtors is 4 to 6 transactions a year. In my opinion, get out.
Well,
What are you doing this for?
so 4 to 6 transactions a year is the average real estate agent.
Correct.
And what price point is that? Any price point?
Any price point. Just a transaction period.
All right, so let's say in Richmond, average price point.
It's about $340 right now.
I was going to say 3.
All right, so $340. Let's just say for Gringe, you get 3% commission on that.
Yep.
So you're,
What, 3%?
let's just call it 9 for easy math.
Yeah. Then you have to pay your...
So you get 9. Mm-hmm. Let's say you have a 70-30 split, which is pretty normal to your brokerage. Mm-hmm. So you got to pay 3 to your broker.
Yeah.
And then you're self-employed, so you have to pay 30% to Uncle Sam.
Yep.
And then how are you making, like, what are you
How
doing?
are you... Why? How
Paying
is it...
paying the photographer, paying the sign.
all so if it was a
It's all
listing
of it.
you did...
Lockbox.
Right. It's... And that's just... We're not even talking about your E&O insurance, right? The permissions you have to quarterly or whatever it is to, our Century Lock.
Well, Century Lock so Century Lock is how you get into a house.
Right.
So that is.
But there's a quarterly MLS fee, plus you pay them once a year. It's like $265 just to have access to their lock boxes.
Correct. And a lockbox is $125.
Yeah. And on top of it, like Michael said,
Each?
yeah. What you're doing is, if you did the listing, now you've got the photography, possibly some staging, all the things that go
Marketing
into
brochures.
Right. Any marketing you do, property boosting on, social media, stuff like that. It doesn't pay, if you're only going to do 4 to 6 transactions a year, I would rethink that business model.
Well, then that goes around in full circle of the topic for today. As a realtor starting out, do you talk to everyone and anything just because you're grasping to make it?
They do, I think.
And
Don't
if
you
you're
think?
in a level of
What's the question?
of the topic for today, like
people talking to you as a realtor? I mean, there's a lot of
The
agents that I
awkward-
know that would have jumped on that conversation at Wegmans and tried to turn that person into a client all day.
Yeah, it wasn't the time. I don't know. I mean, my business is 92% referral based.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I want to.
So
And that's where it needs to be.
I want to do business with like people. That's where I find
Absolutely.
that is my sweet spot. So it's not that, I won't do business with someone,
Right.
that calls
On-
in or
on that.
whatever, but
Right.
I feel like that it becomes it's a little bit desperate, I feel like, when to just talk to anyone, anywhere,
Absolutely.
anytime.
But that
Plus,
narrative
it's a
is
little
pushed.
unsafe.
It's our fault, by the way. We are on, not we as collectively the people in this room, but our profession is on Facebook and social media saying they're open 24/7. They'll work with anybody. They'll go anywhere. They'll do anything. We've set ourselves up for some of this narrative, quite frankly.
I was reading an agent's bio the other day because I was not familiar with her. She had put in an offer on a listing, and her bio says at the bottom, my value proposition is that you can reach me 24 hours a day. And I'm like,
Good Lord.
girl,
Stop it.
stop whoring yourself out.
That's what it is. I
I'm not.
that drives me nuts.
Yeah. No. Stop.
And
Stop
that's
doing
why the
that.
general public does what they do, asks you questions standing in a Wegmans checkout line or at a Christmas party. You're no more valuable than the Redfin or the Zillow that is open 24/7, right? Think
Yeah.
about it. They
Here's
have
what I
dialed
like.
you down.
When people do, they will be like, hey, you know what? I've seen some things you're doing. Can we set a time to meet? Absolutely.
100%.
Happy to. Mm-hmm. Happy to. But I'm not going to regurgitate everything that I have learned to you at this party.
Right. There are not enough wine spritzers
No. There's
to do that.
I'm not doing that. So don't ask me. And here's the other thing too. You should ask people always, may I ask you a question about that? Instead of just
Word vomiting. Yeah.
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 It's like when a telemarketer, let me tell you, any telemarketers out there that are listening to this, if you call me and say, do you have a moment?
Right.
I will give you a moment. If you go right into your spiel,
And you're reading it, by
Goodbye.
the way. Yeah. I mean, you can see it here, there, because they start and they're reading and they're not hardly taking a breath. And I'm like, stop. Hold on, partner. Hold on. And I said, just cut to the chase. What are you selling?
yeah.
Well, we've got, all these leads for local, listings for a 20% referral fee. No, thank you. I'm good. Appreciate you.
And the sales side of me, that's where I'm like, I think of myself as a business person, salesperson first, then a photographer and like
Yeah.
all the other stuff creatively, creatively and then photographer. It's hard for me to turn that like, oh, could that have been a good deal? Or could that have been something? You know what I'm saying? That turned into something else.
I think there's always going to be those
'Cause,
occurrences.
I think the opportunities could be there. I think that there's a time and place for the opportunity. And I'm a natural born salesperson. I mean, I do it all the time, but
You've almost got me buying a Mercedes, and I'm not even sure I want a Mercedes.
well, and I get nothing
I know.
if you buy one. But
Well,
I talked
if you
to
buy
guy
a
that-
Tesla, there is a referral code that I get.
I knew you were going to jump on that.
Last night I was at Home Depot returning a piece of lumber, and the guy behind the desk was trying to talk a guy into the Home Depot card. And I was like, you totally got to get that card. And he goes, what? And I'm like, you got to get, like, the benefits from having the Home Depot card are endless. You've got to get the card.
Right.
And he's
Especially if you
like-
buy enough. If you're buying,
I said, I mean, I have like 800 like referral, like reward points. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, no, you got to get the card. So he got the card, and the guy behind the desk was like,
I'll take that $25 referral fee.
Like, show some sisters some love. Like, where's like a little...
How about a discount on this lumber I'm buying, bro?
Discount code for today. But I also I don't try. I am respectful of other people's time and where they are. If they are at a party and they're trying to have some downtime, like, no.
That's not, like, do you mind if I call you one Monday? Is there an opportunity for us to catch coffee? And then you move on and you talk about fun stuff and just, whatever. You don't have to talk about business.
So I'm terrible about having business cards on me. Like,
so what do you do?
So I finally got myself the little scan thing.
And does it work?
Oh, yeah. That's great. I've used it actually like 15 times this week where they just scan from the phone, like just whoop.
There you go.
And
what it is what now?
What
it pulls up all your information. So it's a site that you can create that has your logo and all your links.
It's basically a QR code.
It transmits to their phone.
Yeah, it goes straight to their phone. So I have a app that you can download through the Apple Store. For some reason, Eddie and I have been working on it for weeks trying to get it redone, and it's not working.
You know what would be cool? We get a little thing, a doobity-a-dobbity like that to share the podcast. Yeah. We could do that.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Or, even better, our Zillow Busters video, which is, I can't.
Did you see the guy who created the Zestimate for Zillow retired?
What?
Yeah.
He's made enough money. He's out.
Last week. Gone. He gone.
Man.
He's out. When they're they're not doing like buying of property they've stopped doing that for right now. Buying property. Zillow was a big property procurer.
They were pushing that for like 2 years or something like that.
And they've lost their rear end on it. So they've stopped. I got a listing and have you gotten the ones, I'd be remiss to try to figure out.
Is this the listing that had the storage unit and the boats?
Up. You are killing me, Smalls. Anybody who knows where that comes from, I will give you a $25 gift card. Just put your comments below.
Come on.
You got to know that one. Come on. All right. Shut up. You're giving it away.
She didn't specify that you couldn't be an employee or friend of said podcast. So
I'll be giving you that.
I'll $25.
We'll bleep it. Boop.
So, yeah, we'll delete that out. So that's an investor house, and he's giving me crap, and and well deserved. But I hammered the guy was a hoarder who owned the home, and he actually
went to Jesus.
He went to Jesus there, and the little old lady next door who is precious. I just want to. She's lived there for 40 years, and her husband died a few years ago, and she has walked me into her backyard to show me her garden. Aww. And she's amazing. I love her. And
love her.
This guy he's got a big block motor in the backyard. There were 2 boats and all this stuff. So, the big Dipsy dumpsters where they're so the boat, we couldn't get the Dipsy dumpster moved because the boats were sitting in front of it on the curb, and the guy that was supposed to buy the boats. So the day he shows up for talk, I've been told everything will be gone. It's ready.
You can only do what you're told.
I drove by the house because
he sends me a video.
I drove by the house because that can't be the house. I keep on going.
Dawn wouldn't do that.
Dawn would do
She wouldn't have me drive
what
over
is
here
that
with the
broad
dumpsters.
up to?
Because I had to drive by the house to see the sign from the rearview mirror.
He sends me a video going, we're talking about this on the podcast because do you see these boats in front of the house?
Not a storage unit. Not one boat. 2 boats.
2 boats and a dumpster.
And a dumpster.
Sounds like a good joke. There were 2
boats and a dumpster. And
walking in a bar.
Walking into a bar.
So, when you hear someone's name and you just like associate that name with someone.
Yes.
So I've kind of been listening to you guys for the past 10 minutes, except that you said Eddie earlier.
That's the.
Yeah, that's all I think about now is Eddie Haskell. So I've been thinking about Eddie Haskell.
We lost her. She dropped off.
I dropped off.
How I'm sure my phone is communicating with like these microwave. They got cut off.
Eddie is.
I had no bars.
There were no bars going on.
Eddie is my right hand man in the company.
He is amazing. I've never met the man. I'm sure he's fabulous.
He works.
And he works tirelessly on my videos and
He's
stuff.
Eddie Haskell to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's all you know.
He'll pop up that person up in the video.
Eddie, when we're editing this video, can you pop your little face up so we know who you are? I mean, I would not know him on the street if I were to run past him.
You know, you have a person in your company or something that you like. If he left, you'd feel like you just couldn't go any further. That's him to me.
I agree. Yeah. I have a connection with him, and I've never seen the man.
Yeah. I think that you love Eddie.
I do love Eddie.
I love that.
We've had our ups and downs together.
But you stuck together.
We did.
Do you have a hard time telling people you love them?
No.
Me neither.
Not at all.
I have a really great agent that's at my brokerage, and she has a very hard time telling people that she loves them. And my husband is opposite of that. He makes you earn
thinks
it. He's like, I got a bandwidth for like 5 friends, and if I get a new friend, then I have to get rid of an old friend.
Oh my gosh.
I'm good with the friends that I have.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, he's such a dick. And I'm like, you know what? He has a very
But he's intentional though.
He's very intentional, and he loves fiercely.
When you're in, you're in.
Yeah.
If you're in that circle, right?
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
I think that's a great...
It used to make me uncomfortable. Because I'd be like, why?
Well, your net is cast much wider.
Yeah, I have a lot of like close friends, like a lot, and they're all obviously in Florida and different places. But when I met certain people here, not to say this is wrong, but their network is smaller.
Yeah,
because it's a smaller town.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. The majority people that are not realtors or like know, you know what I'm saying. Like they just don't know that many people.
So you have a lot of Mexican prison friends. I have like 5. No, if you're in a Mexican prison that you could call and be like, I'm in a Mexican prison. I'm going to need probably some fake papers and a bunch of cash. And they're like, number 1, why am I not there with you? And number
what
2,
went down that I didn't get the invite?
And number 2, I'll be there in 5 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have that many of those Mexican prison friends.
I know a lot of people, and I feel like I have a large net like you do, but there's just a handful that I keep just right here. Yeah. Just tight to my chest.
Mexican prison friends.
Yeah. I mean, truly. You know, I always, when you say Mexican prison friends, I think of the Bridget Jones' Diary, the second version where she ends up in the prison.
I haven't seen the second one.
We just got to do one podcast of all this. How did we get off on this? I mean, I
was just saying, like, the person that you meet in the grocery store, when do they become a Mexican friend, a prison friend?
They don't.
Yeah, ever, probably.
They don't.
Ever.
You want me to tell you the most inappropriate time somebody has asked me about real estate?
Middle
of a massage.
What?
About a month ago. That's what has made me so fired up about this. Is that...
Was it the masseuse?
Yes.
Quizzing instead of just... The beauty of about a massage is that you're there, and it should just be that wonderful... music.
You should be mute
and pretty, you know, perfumey smells and the lovely music, and there's no talking because I don't want to think.
The only thing you should say is, I need you to turn over and slip down a little bit. Okay. It's time for the flip. Other than that, none ya.
Do you want to keep your bra on and your panties, or just, you know, do whatever makes you comfortable, and here's a towel. I'll be back in 5.
And then
that's the last time we have a conversation.
Right. And then you meet me with water after. No, don't ask me about...
How do I know you're a realtor?
It's on your sheet. You have to put your occupation on your freaking sheet. So
and your contact and all that fun stuff.
I see that you're a realtor. I went,
Hey, now you can say you're a podcaster.
I know. I love when people... Somebody said the other day, they were like, oh my God, I saw you and Dawn. I got like 10 minutes in. I couldn't stop laughing. Like...
But were you laughing to the point that you're tinkling in your panties? That's where I want you to be. I got to say, I need you wet in your pants.
And were you laughing
because we're...
Retract. Can't say that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Can't say that.
Man, you guys are making me work on this edit.
I know.
Are you laughing because you're being sympathetic
Or silly.
what?
Right. What is it? Yeah, she was like, so I saw on your how's the market? How's the market?
Stop
I'm
with
gonna need you to
shut the fuck up. Put a quarter in the swear jar.
You don't have any quarters.
Chris Young threw $5 in from last.
That's about
I need to
right.
just bring a 20. Instead of quarters, we're just going to start throwing 20s.
Yeah.
So
That's key though, Susan. That is an absolute great story to tie this in. I mean,
should have tooted on her.
and if anybody does, that would.
People toot in there.
Okay, I'm flipping over.
Chiropractor definitely, but I don't know about the.
Yeah, when they're like, because I get my glutes massaged because they get tight. I have not tooted, but I'm sure people do. And I would giggle. If I were the masseuse, I'd be like, you tooted. Because it's still funny to me at 52 when people
Like
toot.
a 12-year-old boy.
Even my kids are like,
It's not funny anymore, Mom. We don't even think it's funny. Who did that? It's not the dog.
You know they do.
Jeter did not do that.
No.
Well,
Somebody needs to own it.
I've got a 6-year-old that everything's funny right now to him. Anything gross.
Yeah.
Any bodily function he finds hysterical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down.
Boom. Enough said.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Gosh dang it. Like. Send it to your friends. And if you've not seen Zillow and Buster's,
Yeah. Something special.
you're special if you haven't seen it because it's something special.
There's got to be like a Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Ba-da-ba. See you next time.
Bye-bye. Bye-boo.
You've been listening to the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast hosted by Dawn Roy. Have real estate or bourbon questions or a juicy story you want us to talk about? Call our hotline at 804-293-0550 and maybe you can be on our podcast. This has been a Studio 77 production. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow the Real Estate and Bourbon podcast.